Wagwan PokeMoshPit, it is I, SourBawss. Who's that, you're wondering? Good question, but either way, I'm here with a competitive OU PO match, black and white one, so you know, I'm already reeling in the views as we speak, but as the title suggests, this will be against a Mr. TonyFlygon. We were randomly in a Skype call with 6 Foot Hack, so I just went to him, "Hey yo Tony, hop a PO real quick." And he was like, "Hell yeah!" And so here we are. But anyway, as the team preview suggests that I'm running a rain team, he's running a non-weather team. I'm running defensive Politoed, CM Rachi, sub, dual hazards, Ferrothorn, Extra Belt Rotom, a Metal Coat Sizzle, and a Lifeorb Terrakion with Protect, courtesy of Quack Penguin X, so shout out to him. He's running kind of a weird team. I mean, he's got Deoxys with the hazards. I need to watch out if he's maybe Fire Gem or Rocky Helmet. Got a possibly Choice Band Scizor, Rotom Cuts. I need to figure out what kind of set he's running. Terrakion, I need to also find out what that set as well. It could be Rock Polish, Swords Dance, Sub, SD, or it could be the same one that I'm running. Starmie, possibly Offensive Spinner, and D-Knight, most possibly Offensive Dragon Dance with Lumberry. But as for leads, I'm not sure. He could lead off with the Rotom or the Deoxys. I'm just going to lead off with my Politoed just to get the rain out, seeing as he does have a weather of his own. So, with that being said, let's get on with the show. Tony's going to be leading with his Rotom Cut. I'm going to lead with my Politoed, just getting that rain up. He's going to go for the Volt Switch. I could have switched into my Jirachi, but I don't want to take any damage with it, unnecessary damage, and I could have switched into Ferrothorn, but he could have easily Volt Switched into his Terrakion. So staying in and forcing him to switch in to either his Deoxys or his Starmie to take the Scald, Rain Boosted Scald would be the better play, as he is going to go for a Hydro Pump as I protect just to get some leftovers recovery, as he's going to switch up and go for the Thunderbolts, hopefully maybe thinking that I would think he was choice in some way, but that's not the case. As he's going to switch out into his Deoxys defense, I thought he was going to switch out into his Rotom Cuts, so which is why I'm going to switch out into the Terrakion, as I thought he would be like a choice Specs variant from that damage from the Volt Switch. But yeah, you'll see, as I am going to switch out into my Politoed. He does go for the Nightshade with his Deoxys, as my Terrakion could have been the sub variant, so that was a good move on his part, seeing as if I could have set up an SD and started to proceed to wreck shit. So yeah, seeing as I do have the weather to my advantage, Politoed is the most expendable thing on my team now, as I'm going to get a crit Scald Burn courtesy of PO, because my luck on Wi-Fi is terrible. And yeah, that'll be forcing him to go for the Stealth Rocks, as he's been going for the Nightshade the next turn as well. So, and also don't see any leftovers recovery, so that means he was the Rocky Helmet set. So either way, he is going to go for another Volt Switch as he brings in the Rotom Cut, and I'm just going to leave in my Politoed as Death Fodder, as he's going to switch out into the Sizzle, as I am going to switch out into my Rotom Wash on my own. I am just going to go right for the Volt Switch, as he is going to switch out into his Rotom Cuts, as I do get a crit with the Volt Switch, which may or may not have mattered, but I think it did not matter in the long run. But damage is damage, as I bring in my Terrakion, and now here's where me not knowing how much damage Volt Switch does really bites me in the arse, as he's going to take me out clean with Choice Scarfed Modest Leaf Storm. But I was thinking that if I did get that wrong, I could easily go into my Jirachi, go for a Substitute, and then set up a Calm Mind, as he is going to switch out into his Starmie, but that was a misplay on my part. I should have went for a Side Shock or a Water Pulse just to get some good damage on that Starmie, as it has no means of recovery, seeing as it is the offensive version of Starmie. But I'm going to switch out into my Ferrothorn. I'm glad he didn't predict my switch and didn't double switch into something like his Rotom Cut or the Terrakion, but honestly I was +1 sub CM Rachi and I was a threat, so you can't be messing about those threats. So he made a good play and just stayed in with the Hydro Pump, as I'm going to finally get on my Stealth Rocks, as this Rotom Cut, I need damage on this thing quickly, as I'm going to get up Alero Spikes, as he is going to start spamming HP Fires in the rain. It's still doing a decent amount of damage, as I'm going to go for the Power Whip just in case he wants to switch into his Starmie just to try and Rapid Spin away before he dies. But actually he just stays in, as actually going to get some very crucial damage on that Rotom Cut, as you'll see later on, as I'm going to switch out again into my Jirachi, going to start going for the substitute again as he brings out the Starmie again, as the Stealth Rock and Spikes do take its toll, as you really only need maybe Stealth Rock and, or always Stealth Rock and just one layer of Spikes, as that's pretty much all you need. Sometimes getting the 2 layers is just eh. But either way, I'm going to start stalling him, well, Life Orb stalling him, as he's going to go hit both Hydro Pumps, as I'm going to get a free substitute, and now something else has to die as well. So he's going to switch out into his Terrakion. Stealth Rock and Spikes are going to take his toll, as he's going to go for the close combat -1 in defenses, as I'm just going to go for a Water Pulse or Side Shock. I forget which one. Yeah, Water Pulse. The crit mattered? No. Of course not. Come on, do the math. As I am unfortunately exposed, as he's going to bring out the Rotom Cut, as he's going to go right for the Thunderbolt just to take me out. And now here is where things get very, very interesting, as this is the point of the match where if one of us makes a bad play, then we lose. So here's what I'm thinking. I have 2 options, since as I said earlier before, I am the Metal Coat version of Sizzle, meaning I'm running Swords Dance, Bullet Punch, U-Turn and Superpower. And so I have 2 options, either U-Turn or Swords Dance. If I U-turned and he stayed in with Rotom Cuts, I'd win, but that's unlikely, as I could have U-turn, killed off the Rotom Cut, survived the Thunderbolt, and switch out into Rotom Wash, destroying Dragonite and Sizzle with HP Ice and Hydro Pump respectively, but again, that's unlikely. If I U-turn and he switched out into Dragonite, I would lose, as I had to switch out into Rotom Wash. He would go for the Extreme Speed with Dragonite, I OHKO with HP Ice. He brings in Choice Scarf, Cut, and Thunderbolts my Rotom Wash and my Sizzle, and then he superpowers me for the KO with his own Sizzle. And also, if I U-turned and he switched out into Sizzle, then it would pretty much be the same as my last scenario. He can just do whatever, get in too much damage and I'd lose, and he would all know. But if I went for the Swords Dance on the Rotom Cuts, I'd win, as I would be able to Bullet Punch, as +2 Bullet Punch would be able to KO the Rotom Cut from that range and destroy the rest of his team. If he decided to switch out into Dragonite, that would also be the same, or at least I'd have a high chance of winning. Or I could Swords Dance as he switched out into his own Sizzle, and again, that would be more uncertain, but I would have possibly a higher chance of winning, depending on what would happen. So, or the random number generator just smacks me upside the head, crits me, making this needlessly long thought process entirely pointless. So yeah, either way, basically too long, didn't read. I'm going to go for the Swords Dance, as that's going to increase my chances of winning. So I'm going to go for said Swords Dance, as he does switch out into his Sizzle, so he does one of the scenarios. As I am just going to go right for Superpower, as I could have gone for another Swords Dance, but he then would have gone for another Superpower, as I do have 4 speed EVs instead of 8, so it would have been a speed tie, as I EV'd it so that I would always win the U-turn, but so I would always get switch advantage. So as he would have went for another Superpower and then a Bullet Punch, so he'd be at -2 basically, as he was the Metal Coat version as well, seeing as the first Superpower did so little. As I would have survived that with, I think, 1% actually, and then he would have brought in the Dragonite. He would have went for the +2 priority Extreme Speed and killed me off, thus winning the game with the Rotom Cut 1-0. So yeah, that's why I didn't go for +2, if that's what you're wondering. So I'm just going to take him out with the Superpower, and then he makes a crucial misplay and switches out into his Rotom Cut, allowing me to KO him with the Bullet Punch. As if he went into his Dragonite first, I would have been forced to switch out into my Rotom Wash, as he went for the Fire Punch. He then would have went for an Extreme Speed, bringing me down pretty low, as I would have KO'd him with the HP Ice. He then would have brought out Rotom Cut to finish me off with the Thunderbolt, and then it would have been an either min-max damage roll with the non-boosted Bullet Punch Metal Coat, as he would have been at 28%. Bullet Punch without any boost, Metal Coat does 25% to 29%. He was at 28%, so he had the better chance of surviving, but that is not the case. He brings out Rotom Cut. I am easily able to take him out with the +1. Bullet Punch. He brings in Dragonites, goes for a Fire Punch, as I am going to be able to finish this game off with Rotom Wash, Expert Belt, HP Ice. Let's go! Damn, that was a lot of talking, and I'm going to shut up now. So, very good game, TonyFlygon. Had a head of a match, actually. Damn. So yeah, if you did enjoy the match, please feel free to subscribe to my opponent, TonyFlygon. Well, I'm sure you already are. Subscribe to the PokeMoshPit, and if you enjoy competitive OU matches, you can go and subscribe onto my channel. Yes, indeed, indubitably. So yeah, with that being said, thank you very much for watching, and as always, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the other side.